Dakota's pushing it to 5. They win set number 4, 25-23.
Hey Coyote fans, welcome into another edition of the Coyote Volleyball Show presented by Scooters Coffee, a special edition Coyote Volleyball Show as we prepare for the upcoming Summit League Volleyball Tournament hosted in the Sanford Coyote Sports Center that'll run Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Here to talk with us about the Summit League Tournament and clinching another Summit League regular season title is Evelyn Diederich, the senior, coming off of a season-high 12 kills against South Dakota State on Tuesday to help the Coyotes clinch a share of the Summit League regular season title. Four-way share of the Summit League regular season title. Evelyn, how did that feel just to be on the floor and find a way to clinch that title the way your team did, and knowing that just continuing to build the profile of this volleyball program?
Yeah, so I think a reverse sweep is pretty fitting for this season. We've had a couple of those. But to do it on South Dakota State's home floor, it means more. And, they're our in-state rival. We want to win that game. And I think being down 0-2 and having to fight back and really show what we're made of, and we earned that ring for sure.
This team has gone through ups and downs throughout the course of the season. I mean, you look at the non-conference, there were ups and downs. It was a very slow start to conference play before this team got going. How satisfying, gratifying was it to be able to call yourself a Summit League champion after the way this season started?
Yeah, so I think when the season started, obviously it didn't start the way we wanted it to, but I don't think we were ever worried. We knew that with the skill set that we had on our team, we have so much depth on our team, we knew we'd be able to pull it out. It did take some extra resiliency at times, some extra battles, some hard losses in conference, but we're confident in ourselves and our abilities. So, yeah, pretty happy about it.
You're a veteran on this team. How have you helped guide some of the young players who have had to step up to make this team, to get this team to the point that they're at?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is the support factor of it. I think having Avery out there, having Sam out there, Loesch, Katie coming in at times, the best thing that we can do for them is support them, cheer them on a little bit extra in practices and games, and let them know that we believe in them, because that's what they need.
Throughout the course of games, whether you're on the floor or a part of the bench, that bench celebration, the bench celebrations are some of the most fun things to watch, and sometimes I think the fans watch that more than the actual game.
Yeah.
How much fun is that to not only be a part of sometimes, but also when you're on the floor to watch that from the floor?
Yeah, so we take a lot of pride in our bench. I think our bench is definitely the best in the Summit League for sure. We have a lot of different cheers for different people, but it just gets people going. I mean, if you're on the court, you can see the bench, you can hear the bench, and it gives you that extra little spark. And, having all the different cheers we do, like some people think it might be a little bit ridiculous at times, but I mean, it's just fun. It's nice to get it lighthearted and to get people excited. So
when are you able to fit in bench celebration practice?
It just kind of comes naturally. Like there's some that it's fitting. Like certain people have certain cheers that, like for Bryn, we have the lasso, and that just came to us. There was no practice needed.
Well, certainly it's fun. Do you guys go back and review your film on the bench celebrations?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I actually went back and watched, and I had a solo block against South Dakota State, and the bench was more excited than I was. I mean, people are jumping up and down. The coaches are coming off the bench. People are just so excited, and that just makes you feel so supported. Like seeing all those people on the bench cheer for you. It's a great feeling.
Tuesday, you had a season-high 12 kills. I'm sure that felt great for you, a player who's been in and out of the lineup throughout the course of the season. How good did it feel to get it back out there and not just contribute, but to contribute in such a big way?
Yeah, it felt really good. I think one of the things that I've kind of leaned on this year is that when my name is called, I'll be ready. And I've been really supportive of the people in front of me, helping them along the way. And I knew that when my time came, I would be ready. And I feel like I was. I was ready to go out there and be myself and be who the team needed me to be on whatever day that was, Tuesday.
What have you worked on individually so that you feel like you're prepared and continue to hone in on your craft, obviously, of what you do, but to be ready for that moment?
Yeah, I think a big part of that is mental. I think telling myself that I can do it and believing in myself is way more important than any skill I could have. But skill-wise, I think attacking the block high, I think kind of mixing up my shots has really helped me. And like I said, and going back to it, but the mental part of it was way more important to me than the physical. So,
what's more fun for you? Is it the big block denying their attack, or is it the big swing that hits the other side of the floor?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I think for me, I score more off of my offense than my defense. So when I do get a big block, it is just like so exciting. And there was one time in the preseason, Leanne was like, "You can't like act surprised when you get a block." I'm like, I'm not surprised. I'm just super excited. But I definitely get a little bit more hyped after a big block.
How much fun are those moments when you have a big kill or a big block and you know that that's a momentum shifter for your team?
It feels great. It feels great to know that I can do that for this team and that I can get people going, and that whether it's me cheering or a play that I make, knowing that I can help this team and help us succeed is a really good feeling.
You've been a part of this program that has had a lot of success, regular season championships, tournament championships. The ring box is certainly filling up. How would you kind of describe your experience with Coyote Volleyball?
It's been a great experience. I think not many people in the country can say that they went 4 for 4 rings in 4 years, and that's something I am just super blessed and grateful to be a part of. I think this program has taught me a lot about myself. It's taught me a lot about the person that I am and who I'm going to bring to the real world outside of volleyball. But yeah, it's been a great experience, and it's going to be hard to say goodbye for sure.
When you look at the upcoming Summit League Volleyball Tournament, I mean, 4 teams shared the regular season title.
Yeah.
Tells you there's a lot of parity in
Yeah.
this league. How excited are you for this upcoming tournament, number one? And number two, what do you like about your team and this group and its opportunity that it has ahead?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, the fact that it was a four-way shared title is really interesting. That hasn't happened in I don't even know how long, but I think it kind of shows how competitive the league is this year. Anyone can beat anyone, and we're fully aware of that. I think our matchup this weekend starting against NDSU will be a great one, and I think something that we're really prepared for.
Message to the fans that we need them here for that energy, right?
I think the fans make such a big difference. Having our fans there cheering us on, even just having bodies in the stands makes a huge difference for us.
People have asked me, well, the energy from the crowd, do they really feed off of it? Your
Absolutely,
response?
absolutely. And it's we talked about a little bit of like the momentum shifts when a big play happens, and the crowd has a huge part in that. When they get on going with it and it's game point and they're all standing up and cheering and clapping, that gets us going, and we need that.
No, we're excited for it. Summit League Volleyball Tournament. Go chase down another championship, all right?
Yeah, we will.
All right, that's Evelyn Diederich joining us here on the Coyote Volleyball Show. Coming up next on the Coyote Volleyball Show, Leanne Williamson will join us and we'll preview the upcoming Summit League Volleyball Tournament. This is the Coyote Volleyball Show presented by Scooters Coffee.
The Coyote Volleyball Show is brought to you by Scooters Coffee. Scooters Coffee, amazing drinks, amazing people, amazingly fast. The Coyote Volleyball Show is brought to you by Scooters Coffee. Scooters Coffee, amazing drinks, amazing people, amazingly fast.
Back in the Coyote Volleyball Show presented by Scooters Coffee. We're joined now by the head coach of the Coyotes, Leanne Williamson. Coach, congratulations. regular season championship for your team, four-way tie at the top, but co-champions in the Summit League. This team really earned it this year.
Yeah, I think last week we talked a little bit more about resiliency and just kind of how much this team has gone through, and I feel like this is kind of obviously a really good ending, to some ups and downs throughout the season. And, we started the conference way back whenever we started, feels like forever ago at this point in time, 0-2, so for us to finish where we're at right now and to have a share of that title is pretty remarkable. And I'm just really proud of the team for sticking with it, staying together, continuing to get better as the season progresses. And in a lot of ways, I do feel like we are playing some of our best volleyball right now.
The finishing touches to that co-championship at South Dakota State, they win the first two, just like they did earlier this year. Your team is able to bounce back and reverse sweep them. Challenging to do anytime, let alone twice against the same team in a season, especially at their place.
Absolutely. It was a good environment. I just feel like the last couple of years, every time we've gone up there, I think they've had a pretty good crowd. But I didn't feel like we played our best in sets 1 and 2 especially. I think we started a little slow. I think in some ways the moment was probably a little big for us for a little bit there. And we're able to find a way to win set 3. It wasn't always perfect. It wasn't pretty. I think we started, kind of again down actually and had to fight our way back. But set 4, we felt pretty good at the beginning. They tied it up, back and forth. But at the same time, that's kind of what we expect out of a rivalry game. I don't think it's going to go very smoothly most times you play that. So, I think when we were down 0-2, it was just that message of we've been there. We know what this feels like. We know what we have to do. Let's make some changes and go out and do it. And again, I think it still took us a little bit, but that 5th set was something else. Watching the team just compete at such a high level and make plays that we hadn't made kind of consistently throughout that match. And I think really just, I think put an emphasis on the fact that, I think in that moment anyway, we were definitely the better team. So I was really happy for them there and glad we were able to pull that out and to be able to celebrate together as a team. I wish I could have been at home, but I think probably the second best is up there.
One of the sparks in that match, Evelyn Diederich, who we talked to on the Coyote Volleyball Show, and she talked about this season just staying ready for her opportunity. A season-high 12 kills certainly helped on Tuesday.
She was a huge spark for us, and she does have game experience, so it wasn't a surprise, when we were able to put her in. It really made us very confident in just what she could do, and she's had a good last week or 2 of practices, so there was a lot of confidence there. And not only did she obviously perform well, she was definitely a little bit of an energy spark for us. She got it going. I think she got the celebrations going, the communication. I mean, she was definitely a little ball of energy for us, and it was a huge part, I think, of our win. And she said all year she was ready, and we knew it. And that's one of the things, you talk about a person that maybe didn't get as much playing time throughout the year as you would like, but we always talk about stay ready, be prepared, so when your turn does come, you're able to take advantage of the opportunity, and she did that and then some. So really proud of her, really happy for her, and honestly happy that she was able to come in and help the team accomplish something that meant a lot to them too.
Every season is a different journey. You've got different lineups, different players involved, and things of that nature. This year, as we've talked about before, a little bit slow start into the Summit League season. How satisfying is this for this team, Summit League championship in the regular season, after the way it started and the way this team really had to find a way to mold together, gel together, and find that flow to be able to get to this point?
Yeah, I think we talk about the process so much, every year, and the process looks different, like you said, for each team. And I think for this one, it really required us to buy in. It really required us to stay very consistent with our messaging and keep people on board and keep people understanding that we had, that we were going to have a chance, And I for a little bit there, we actually didn't control our own destiny. We had a few weeks where we were behind and we needed somebody to lose. And when that did happen, I think they just took it and ran with it in a lot of ways. But, I think every season has its ups and downs, some more than others. And one of the things I said to them after the game was, I know it hasn't always been easy, but it feels worth it, and I think being able to look at them and make that eye contact with everybody and just have that understanding of like, this is why we go through it. This is why, October is a tough month, just with the school and the travel, and we've been playing for a while and people are tired and there's some soreness and some nagging injuries. October is always a month that's a little bit harder, and October is worth it, when you get to this point. So really happy for them and really happy for the program just continuing to find a way. It doesn't always have to be pretty. It doesn't always have to be perfect. But they stayed intentful, and they were able to pull it out when they needed to the most.
I know you had a chance to recognize the seniors last week, and obviously they hope for a lot of volleyball still ahead of them, but this is a group that has done something really special here.
Yeah, they really have. We obviously have people that are in different points in their career, but all graduating at the same time. But a lot of them have been a part of a championship each season that they've been here, and that's pretty impressive. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they were able to accomplish, that goal that they had set out for themselves at the beginning of the season. But we're not done yet. We'd like to continue. We feel like we're in a good position to continue to play more volleyball, hopefully win a tournament championship as well. But yeah, this class has been remarkable for us, has been a part of a lot of winning, a lot of championships, but also they're good people and they're good students, and that's really important within our program, so something that I think is really important to highlight as well.
You look ahead at the Summit League tournament, and it's exciting. We've talked about this a number of times, but you get to host that thing right here in the Sanford Coyote Sports Center. How special is this moment? It's not your first time hosting. It certainly won't be the last, but how special is that?
It's huge. I think we've talked about it throughout the year. We knew it was coming, but I think for it to actually be here now and to recognize the fact that we don't have to get on a bus, we don't have to get on a plane. We get to stay right here and host in front of our home fans, and to hear the amount of people that have bought tickets or people that are planning to, it makes a big difference for us. And we're in kind of a tough position, obviously. For us to win a championship, we have to win 3 matches in a row, but being at home makes me feel pretty confident that that's very doable.
You're going to start this tournament with North Dakota State. It's a team that took your team to 5 sets in Fargo. You were able to win in 3 sets here a week ago. You get them again, and you just know that North Dakota State team's going to be ready to go.
Absolutely. I mean, I think everybody is. You look at the tournament starting, it's a new season in a lot of ways. And what we've done in the past only put us in the seeding positions now, and now we get to start over. So, I would be surprised if that match went the way it did the last time we played them. I think they're going to be prepared. They're going to make some changes, and obviously it's on us to make sure that we can adjust with their adjustments. And I think we know what we feel like we have to do to have success against them, but we have to execute it, and that's the challenge. That's the question mark going into every single game. But we do feel confident with the matchup, and again, what the changes that we were able to make from the first time to the second time. And it's obviously on our players to execute, but it's also on us as coaches to make sure that we're putting them in a good situation and adjusting as necessary.
Anytime you're playing a third time, it'll require another adjustment. How do you try to use the 2 matches together to figure out a game plan, at least for the start, because as you know, it's adjusting on the fly?
Yeah, I look at that first matchup compared to the second one, and they just had more success offensively in the first one. So, a lot of things, even though it seems like a really long time ago, again, we have to go back and just see what did they have success on there. What were things that maybe we were able to do to slow them down in that second match. But then what we have to guess, too, in some ways of, hey, here's what we think they'll probably try to do early on so that we can be prepared for that. But I think for both teams, I don't think they're going to be surprised by anything we do. I don't think we're going to be surprised by anything they do. But when it comes down to tournament time, it comes down to being intentful and aggressive and executing just a little bit cleaner than that other team.
I know the whole season has been about 1-0, and you're focused on the matchup straight in front of you, and that is North Dakota State. But in the grand scheme of it, if this team is going to have the opportunity to hoist the trophy the way that they want to, what has to go well over a 3-day period for your team?
First, I want to go back throughout the season and find out how many times you say, I know you want to go 1-0, but let's talk about this, because there's another one right there. I think for us, we have to serve and pass well, obviously, but I think when we've gotten ourselves in trouble, it's when we've had a hard time being as offensive and clean in that area is what we can do. So I think those are probably the two main keys. We have to serve and pass well. And honestly, I think even going back to Tuesday, like we struggled in 1 and 2 because we weren't serving well. We were serving way too easy, in my opinion. And once we made that switch, the match started to shift. So we have to serve and pass well. We have to be good offensively. But I feel very confident that our defense is going to be consistent like it has been all year.
Well, good luck this week in the Summit League tournament, Coach. Congratulations on the regular season championship as well, and I know there'll be an excited crowd at the Sanford Coyote Sports Center. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
That's Leanne Williamson, the head volleyball coach at the University of South Dakota, and that wraps up the Coyote Volleyball Show for this week, brought to you by Scooters Coffee.
The Coyote Volleyball Show is brought to you by Scooters Coffee. Scooters Coffee. Amazing drinks, amazing people, amazingly fast.